It is considered one of the most physically impossible disappearances in modern history. A man vanishes into thin air, leaving behind a locked car, a running engine, and a terrifying mystery. This is the baffling case of Elias Vance and the Route 44 anomaly. At 11:42 p.m. on a stormy Tuesday night, a passing motorist dialed emergency services. They reported a vehicle sitting idle on the shoulder of a desolate stretch of highway, deep in the Blackwood Valley. When highway patrol arrived 20 minutes later, they found a 2018 silver sedan. The headlights were blazing into the dense tree line. The windshield wipers were violently thrashing back and forth. But as the officer approached the driver's side window, something was deeply wrong. The car was running, but the driver's seat was completely empty. Every single door was locked from the inside. The windows were rolled up tight. Elias Vance was gone. To understand the impossibility of the scene, investigators had to retrace Elias's final hours. Elias was a 42-year-old structural engineer. A man of deep routine, logical thinking, and zero criminal history. On the night he vanished, surveillance cameras captured him leaving his office building at exactly 9 p.m. He was heading home to his wife, a drive that should have taken no more than 45 minutes. At 9:30 p.m., he stopped at a lonely roadside gas station to buy coffee. The clerk reported that Elias seemed entirely normal, though he kept glancing nervously at his rearview mirror. He purchased his coffee with a €5 note, got back into his car, and drove into the storm. According to cell tower data, his phone moved steadily down Route 44 for another 12 miles. And then, at exactly 9:54 p.m., the phone's signal abruptly died. Not dropped, disconnected entirely. When forensics teams cracked open the locked vehicle, the mystery only deepened. Inside the car, they found the coffee he had just purchased. It was still warm, sitting in the cup holder. His wallet, containing his ID and all his cash, was resting on the passenger seat. But the most chilling detail was found on the steering wheel. Deep, frantic scratch marks were gouged into the leather, as if Elias had been gripping it with terrifying force. Outside the car, the muddy shoulder of the highway offered no answers. There were no footprints leading away from the vehicle. No tire tracks indicating another car had pulled up alongside him. It was as if Elias Vance had evaporated from a moving, locked steel box. With no physical evidence of foul play or an escape route, investigators turned to the road itself. Route 44 is notorious among locals. A 50-mile stretch of dead zones and dense pine trees. In the weeks following the disappearance, other drivers began reporting strange anomalies in that exact sector. Truckers spoke of severe electrical failures, headlights dimming to a faint amber, and radios erupting in heavy static. One witness claimed to have seen a man in a dark jacket standing completely still at the edge of the tree line. But when the witness hit their high beams, the figure didn't run. He simply faded into the heavy rain. Search and rescue teams scoured the Blackwood Valley for 3 consecutive weeks, using thermal drones and tracking dogs. They found nothing. Not a piece of clothing, not a phone, not a single trace of Elias. Today, the case of Elias Vance remains completely frozen. An active yet impossible, cold case. Law enforcement is split. Half believe Elias meticulously planned his own disappearance, rigging the locks from the outside. The other half believe he fell victim to an opportunistic predator lurking on the desolate highway. But neither theory explains the lack of footprints in the mud, or the violent scratches on the steering wheel. His wife still waits. The silver sedan sits in a police impound lot, slowly rusting away. The mystery of Route 44 continues to endure, a dark reminder of how quickly a life can simply evaporate. If you ever find yourself driving down a dark stretch of highway in the pouring rain, check your locks. Keep your eyes on the road. Because once you step out into the dark, there is no guarantee you will ever step back in.